Some might say Afghanistan put on a much better show than they were expected. What was considered a brittle middle order somehow managed to do enough for Afghanistan to get 272 in their allotted 50 overs. They won the toss, chose to bat first, were looking in a bit of a spot at one stage. But then that 121-run partnership between Hashmat Shahidi, the captain, and Azmatullah Omar Zai, the youngster, gave Afghanistan a certain base to work on, and somehow they managed to reach 272 for 8. India, to notch up their second win, need 273 to experts. DK and ZK in the house. Afghanistan doing better than they were expected?
Well, they had a decent start, I would say. First 10 overs were good. After that, by 15 overs, they were 3 wicket down. I think that was a spot of bother for them. But the partnership has come at a very good time for them. 120-run partnership really consolidates things in that middle phase of ODI game, and that's what we've seen today. And in this format, if you have a partnership like that, you invariably end up getting around 250, 270, that kind of a total, which is what they've achieved. When you're looking at the conditions, you would expect that a strong batting lineup of India, this should be a decent total for them. Not too concerned about that. But Afghanistan, looking at their previous game and how they've come back from that, certainly the discussion, a plan which was there in motion, and they will be very happy with that. I think they'll take a lot from this game in terms of creating that position from where they can fight if there is enough spin on offer, if dew is not a factor, all the, few things have to go their way for them to create a scenario which will create some sort of pressure on this Indian batting lineup.
Some might say it's below par, or have they given themselves enough to be able to put up a fight?
They've given themselves enough to put up a smile on their face, for sure, considering how poorly they played against Bangladesh. Now, if you do look at the partnerships, the one obvious one is between Hashmatullah and Azmatullah. I think they batted really well. If you can get 128 runs between 20 to 40, you've done a job for the team. And it's an area that they've actually struggled a lot. But is 272 going to be enough on a flat pitch, which could get better to bat on under lights with a little bit of dew around the corner? I would like to think no, not so much.
We've got to talk about the youngster Azmatullah, who came into bat ahead of Nabi and Najibullah. Very few people would have expected this, but they clearly knew what they were doing, and he didn't look like a lower order batter, did he?
Well, he had a terrific partnership, and you look at the middle phase, which we were just touching upon in terms of rotation of the strike. That is something which is very important. The strike rate around 90, close to 90, is something which anyone will take it at that stage. You look at 5 runs per over and you are happy as a team at that stage. What is important is you don't lose wickets in that phase. And I think both those batters did very well, and they've had enough success as well. So he was picking his bowlers, he was picking his spots, and that is something which is good for Afghanistan and for him also to go in the tournament.
4 sixes and 2 fours in that Azmatullah innings, and yet he scored 62 of 69, a strike rate of below 100. Perhaps tells us that he was happy to bide his time, spend some time on the crease, and he was okay with the dot balls, and also the way he picked Kuldeep Googly and hit him for a big one.
Rotating singles is an art in itself, and I think you have to understand Afghanistan not having that kind of experience in ODI cricket. In T20s, it's much easier to take singles because the bowler is happy to give you a single. In ODI cricket, he is definitely not happy giving you singles. So the way they bowl, the kind of fields they operate with is far more attacking in nature. So it's very difficult to rotate strike. Whereas you can hit the odd boundary, which he has done, and hence the strike rate is around 90, and majority of it coming through boundaries. Though I must say, what was the standout factor in the way Omar Zai played was how well he was able to put pressure on the spinners, especially Kuldeep. He took down Jadeja with 1 down, long on. He batted really well, and that's a good sign. A batter who generally bats at 6 and 7 to be given the promotion, come out there against India in a big game to score the way he did is a positive sign for Afghanistan.
Helps to also have the captain at the other end, and he would have sort of calmed the youngsters' nerves as well. He himself played really well, 80 of 88, a proper captain's knock that.
He was looking good today, and every time a captain is in form, it just reflects in his captaincy. So from that point of view, also it's very important. As a team, they didn't have a great outing with the bat out there. So someone has to take the responsibility, and if you are a leader taking the responsibility, that always helps.
Yep.
I think for Afghanistan, they will be very happy with their batting effort today, and they certainly will think that they've got a chance, provided things go their way.
From India's perspective, this left-right combination, would that have irritated India a little bit? Because at one stage they were struggling to just break this partnership until Hardik Pandya came and bowled that slow ball to get rid of the youngster. Was that left-right irritating India?
Left, right, always a bit tougher on the bowler. You've got to constantly keep changing your lines and lengths. You can ask any bowler who's operated. There's one sitting here who's operated over a period of time, and he'll tell you he'd rather prefer bowling to two left-handers or two right-handers. Left, right, comparatively tougher. It's not like they can't do it. It's comparatively tougher. And when a partnership gets going, it's also tiring on the bodies because you're constantly changing fields. You can't stand in one place. If you're sweeper for one person and the other person, you're deep square leg, so the angles change. You've got to move around a lot more. So that way, it's a little more annoying, especially when you've got 3 wickets and you feel that you can run through a middle order and then there's a partnership. It just takes its toll on you a little bit mentally. But what I really enjoyed at the end of their partnership was when Hardik got that wicket, his celebration. He hardly celebrates like that. So it meant a lot to him, which tells you that, you know, he was really trying today. He got the wicket early with Cricbuzz, but he wanted to strike again. And when he got the opportunity to strike again, and he was taken down a little bit by both Azmatullah and Hashmatullah, when he got the wicket, you could see the aggression coming through. And I quite enjoy a very aggressive Hardik.
What do you make of that celebration?
Yeah, that was a reaction of whatever was happening at that
Earlier.
spell, and it's always great to see. You as a bowler needs that trigger at times, and I think Hardik got that trigger today. So he was really keen on breaking that partnership. He did a terrific job, I felt, with the ball today, right from the word go. He was using his cutters, which was important. Short ball is something which is strength. He got wicket on that short pitch delivery. Great support by Shardul as well to complete that catch. But on the whole, I think he was in control of things.
Jasprit Bumrah 4 for 39, and once again on Twitter you will see people say Bumrah is Bumrah yaar. तो कर ही लेते हैं हमेशा.
It is true, isn't it? And what can you say about Bumrah? As I said, he is after Kohinoor Diamond, he is that for the Indian team. He is a very special cricketer, one who needs to be taken care of, wrapped in cotton wool, and made sure that he is the premier bowler for many, many years to come. Look, you got to understand there are 3 medium pacers who bowled today. In fact, 4. And he was a standout, wasn't he? Just the way he came and operated the new ball, came in the second spell, bowled those Yorkers, created trouble, didn't pick up a wicket, then comes back again. And when the others are getting hit, he again picks you wickets, keeps the control, gives you exactly as a captain what you want. 4 for 39 on a flat wicket is an outstanding achievement. He is a partnership breaker. He can get you wickets with the new ball. He is the most complete bowler in world cricket in white ball format. He can bowl in phases for you, be it the start, be it the middle. If there's reverse, he's phenomenal. I mean, Zach said all the points at the start of the show, and I don't know how much more to add, but he is worth his weight in gold, literally, and he's a very important member of this Indian cricket team.
It is such a delight to see Jasprit Bumrah run in and bowl, and especially the one where he got the opening wicket caught behind. Similar to how he got rid of Mitchell Marsh as well. Someone who's at the peak of his skill, would you say, or is there some more that we can expect him to unleash about his skills?
Well, I think with Bumrah, the more I'm seeing right now, there will definitely be a distinction in terms of pre-surgery and post-surgery Bumrah. Pre-surgery Bumrah, you would see just relying too much on that awkward angle which he creates. He would be backing his Yorkers. He would be looking to bowl really fast. Not someone who would actually go too soon to the slower one, which he so effectively uses. But the temptation of knocking the batter out was something more. Post-injury, I think he is focusing more on that outswinger, going away from the right-hander batters, which is going to be his strength. And I think that is something which is getting me excited. Every time I'm seeing that with the new ball. Very consistent now with the outswingers, and that is actually making him more effective with the new ball. You will see more often than not he will be knocking 1 or 2 in that first spell. The back end, you will be heavily dependent on that. There is no doubt about the fact that Bumrah is someone who will be taking the load at the back end of the innings. If the team has not lost too many wickets getting into that 40 over, around 40 over mark, then Bumrah to have a good day is going to be equal to how the team is doing, or whether you are going above par or below par or defending totals. Everything will be dependent on Bumrah. He's showing great signs there. The Yorkers are always there, but the slower one also he's using effectively. With the old ball, more consistent he is, it's going to have a direct relation to how Indian team is doing. And I think for this World Cup, it's very important that Bumrah with the old ball showing that consistency with the ball, with his variation, with the control. If he's doing that, I think it's going to be a great campaign.
Do you see him being used a little bit differently against bigger teams like England or Pakistan? Do you hold back a six for the last 15, or do you say I have to bring him back for a breakthrough? And also, if you can play Shami, does that take the pressure off of Bumrah? Are all these things interlinked for you?
It is, and I've been saying that Shami should be part of this playing 11. That I've been very vocal about. But it depends on how the team is seeing. If you have say Shardul in the lineup right now, you'll always look to use Bumrah first 4 overs with the new ball if he has taken the wicket. If he has not taken wicket, maybe 3 overs, and then you will bring either a slower bowler or Shardul or Hardik for that matter to be used in that first 10 overs. Because as a captain, I think Rohit will always be under pressure to use his fifth bowler, sixth bowler, just trying to stay ahead of the game. But that 26 to 35 over mark, you will always see one spell of Bumrah, and that's what I'm talking about. So if things are getting tough, then you would go to Bumrah, and if he's in this kind of a form, it will always ease your pressure off. But you should be using Bumrah's those middle overs for sure. And how are you going to use it? You just have 10 overs to play with. So I think that calculation will always be linked. If you look at the back 10, so if the wickets have not fallen, then you would like to keep 3 or 4 overs of Bumrah in the last 10 overs. So which leaves you with maybe 3 or 4 overs to play around with.
Overs, yes. Mohammad Siraj, 9 overs, gave away 676 today. No wickets for him. DK, was he trying too hard? Because he kept bowling on that leg stump. That's where he leaked runs. Was he trying too hard? Can you be over-eager sometimes?
For sure, in a World Cup match, if you've especially not had the best of starts, which happened to him last game, he didn't get the number of wickets he wanted, and he didn't look like a bowler at the top of his mark, like he would pick up a wicket. He was slightly rusty. It's his first ever World Cup game. We need to understand that as well. He went for runs in his first spell, came back and picked up 1 wicket. But for me, what was lacking was the rhythm that we generally associate Siraj with. And he's somebody who starts generally mid-box and then uses his variation as one where he goes wide of the crease and tries to get one into stump. Today you can see every second ball he was trying that a lot in the first spell, which tells me that he's looking for wickets, searching for wickets. He's got the stock outswing that he normally bowls. Then he's got the scramble seam. And the third option is the one where he goes wide of the crease and creates that illusionary angle into trying to get the batter to make the mistake. But today he was doing that so much, and in trying that he was leaking runs down the leg side, which tells me that he's looking for wickets. He believed coming into this match that he can probably produce another spell similar to the finals where he could pick up wickets early. But that's the beauty of this sport. It doesn't happen exactly how you plan it. But the one thing you need to be consistent with is your thought process. Even in the Asia Cup, up until the final, he was searching sometimes for wickets. But in the final, when he struck once, he realized that this was a game where he could go for wickets, and ended up getting that 6 wickets in his first spell. But that happened. It wasn't something he had planned. I don't think Siraj can ever say that he planned 6 wickets in his first spell, because nobody can. But the one thing you can do is the process of how you want to go about it in the first 6. And I think he's slightly deviated from that because he's got 6 wickets. He has the confidence. He feels probably at this point of time he can strike every time in his first spell. But in both Chennai and here, there hasn't been much swing. Bumrah, you can see, has got a little bit of swing, and that's very interesting because Bumrah is not known for swing, but the fact that he's able to get the ball in and bowl the one out shows you the peak form that he is in. Whereas Siraj, unless and until the conditions are good enough for it to, he is not able to get the swing that he usually got. So that is an area that he needs to be wary of. Not search for wickets, but make sure his length is slightly further out from the batsman, between 6 and 8, if it isn't swinging enough in the first spell.
The lay cricket viewer might want to know from you, Zach, if a bowler doesn't have rhythm in the first spell, which he didn't in the first 4, is there a way to get that rhythm back? How does this thing called rhythm work for fast bowlers?
Well, I think rhythm is repetitions, right? In Siraj's case, he has been playing enough. So rhythm, I don't see is a factor right now with regard to how he's going on about doing his business. I think he's putting himself under pressure with the wicket column.
Yeah.
You know, after that spell which he's bowled, if I have to simplify it, it's like if any batter who scored 100, 200 or has had a great outing, you will often see everyone talking to that batter saying that when you take your stance for the next innings, you start on zero. So what it means is you have to replicate the process. You know how you got your eye in, how you build your innings, all those kind of things. For bowler also, it's a process. So when you are in good rhythm, things are going to happen for you. So what was your mindset, or what was your trigger? What was your process of just building one over is something which he has to go back to. I think what he just shifted his focus from what was working for him in terms of just bowling.
Yeah.
Wickets is result. You know, when you are kind of shifting your focus from the process to the result, at times you get carried away. At times the pressure builds more on yourself, and then in that you are actually trying too much, or the process of just releasing the ball, just looking at the line which DK is talking about, that channel offside, off stump, and then from there things happen. Because from there, if the ball comes back in also, it's going to finish somewhere in the middle leg area. Today you saw that he was drifting down the leg side because he was trying too much, he was going for it. When the ball holds its line, again it's a difficult delivery to play because you're focusing on channel. You're not thinking, I'm going to get the wicket like this. You're just saying that, okay, my aim is to get the ball in that area. From there, rest of the things is not in my control. It's going to happen. I think that slight adjustment, he needs to do it. It just looked like in both the games that he is going for wickets, he's running at that, and in the process, shifting his focus from following what has been working for him to just looking at, I need wickets, that kind of approach.
Wow, that was a proper masterclass from Zaheer Khan on things like rhythm, more about process goals than it is about end goals. That's my learning from this conversation that we've had. The only problem though with Siraj is that the moment he the day he bowled that spell in that Asia Cup final, the expectations are much higher, and that's what's given us our hashtag Ask Cricbuzz Live question. This one's come in from one of our viewers, and Aditya wants to know from our experts. Siraj's 6 for in the Asia Cup was one for the ages. Dream bowling. Do you think with less and less of ODI cricket, such performances will be rare to see? Clearly, T20 has sort of taken over. It's become the #1 format in terms of frequency, with fewer ODIs being played. Now, of course, with 2 new balls being used in ODI cricket, do you see such spells being rare, 5-wicket hauls and 6-wicket hauls?
Well, I think if you look at T20 cricket also, you've seen those kind of spells. And you've seen those kind of spells from bowlers like Shami, Siraj, or say Josh Hazelwood, or people who, Deepak Chahar for that matter, if people who are bowling with the new ball and looking to bowl 3 overs, 4 overs, even in T20 format, you've seen those kind of spells where a bowler can bowl those test match lengths and keep taking wickets, have slips in place. You know, those kind of bowling spells. Yeah, it's rare, but you still see those kind of spells. I think what the key is for a bowler to be able to do that, he needs to play maybe all the formats. I think that is the key. What I see right now is bowlers at times are too caught up with the workload management. You know, that is something which is taking a center stage and everything is measured. If you are bowling and just bowling, your bowling muscles are going to get developed nicely. You will be able to have a fine tuning around that and maybe bowl those test match lengths more, which will create that kind of a scenario. Also, the pitches need to be helpful.
Yeah.
So if the pitches are helpful, then you will be able to bowl in that area, and the batters will not be able to just go crazy looking to put you under pressure. So it's a combination of that. ODI cricket, T20 cricket, or Test cricket. It's all dependent on as a bowler whether you are able to get the ball in those areas which is going to give yourself a chance of taking wickets.
My generation grew up on a staple of ODI cricket, especially in the 90s. The Tendulkar high really helped us fall in love with this format. The world is now much different. Here's what Rahul Dravid said when he was asked about the future of this format. Fantastic to play. Obviously, how much of it is played will be dependent on a variety of factors. More and more T20s being added. It'll make it difficult to have potentially the same number of ODIs that you saw in that last World Cup cycle between 15 and 19. Clearly, we are not going back to those days, but I sincerely hope that we still keep valuing and playing this format. The reality is that there will be more T20s. Where do you see one-day cricket going, DK?
Mark Nicholas, the newly appointed MCC president, has come out and said maybe ODI shouldn't be in bilaterals anymore, just the World Cups. It's a very interesting thought. If you do ask the broadcasters who run the game, and a lot of what they say will be dependent on the fans, the cricketing fans. The answer seems to be that there is a certain elite crowd, for lack of a better word, that watch tests. There's obviously the numbers that watch T20 are way higher than any other format. It's the ODI format that's in a mid place right now. It's neither here nor there. They don't know how to monetize it as much as it could have been, especially with bilaterals. Now, if the numbers don't add up, then obviously it becomes an issue. And that's been the biggest area of concern for some time now. A lot of cricketing boards love T20s. A few of the boards like Test cricket a lot, and they seem to, do revel in it. It's the ODIs that's really stuck right now. And that's where this ODI World Cup needs to be a humongous success for people to start loving the game again, because it's a format which has a certain amount of skills, a certain amount of flair involved in it, and I just genuinely don't hope it goes out of fashion.
How about bringing back triangulars and quadrangulars? That's become a thing of the past, because then that adds context instead of random 3-match ODI series or 5-match series. Is that an option that can be looked at?
Absolutely. I think multi-nation tournament is something which will definitely add that flavor, because everyone also consuming the game now in that fashion, isn't it? You have franchise leagues where you have table. You look at which team has got a chance of qualifying, which team is going down, which team is going up. So there is enough action as the league phase is also happening. So which is going to add to more following, and people need not watch the full game, but they always watch phases of the games.
Yeah.
So so that is something. I think the cricket consumption is changed. You look at test matches also, they're not going to be watching the game for 5 days, but you know where the game is heading. You're keeping track of things, how things are evolving. If it goes to the last day when the match is becoming interesting and there is a chance of result, suddenly you'll see the viewership going up. So people are consuming the sport in different ways. That is changed. And how they prefer watching, that is changed. So I think we need to cater to that. So the answer to that is yes, multi-nation tournament, definitely move away from bilateral.
Yep.
And definitely look at having different formats run parallelly. That is something which will also create those opportunities.
Yeah.
And also create that kind of interest. So that is something which I really believe in. So test matches can go parallelly to start with, but then later on you can have ODIs also running parallelly to T20s if you want.
It's a great suggestion by Zach. Sorry I cut you there.
Yeah.
It's just that the last time we played a triangular, it was Nidahas Trophy. And we haven't played a triangular. Yes, it was a T20 tournament, but there was so much hype around that tournament. It was a small tournament. A lot of the senior players didn't want to play because of the year-ending tournament. There was IPL soon after. But the beauty was the rivalry between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka was so much that it spilled over onto India. Like the Sri Lankan fans desperately wanted India to beat Bangladesh. So, there's a certain charm attached to triangulars and quadrangulars. You want that. And I completely agree with Zach. I think it's a great suggestion. Maybe bilaterals need not be the way to go. Quadrangulars and triangulars in different parts of the cricketing world could be the answer to surviving this format.
Well, I suppose the next 35 days shall decide where this format is going. However, with the kind of windfall gain the ICC got for the next set of the next cycle of the media rights, who knows there are enough commercial reasons to keep ODI cricket alive. Not too sure about bilateral. So a lot will be discussed and a lot will be discovered about the future of this format. What about the future of a man who's come back and he's completely shut up all the naysayers? He does this when he does well, cuts out all the noise. KL Rahul, clearly an important part of India's campaign. We all saw what he did in that match against Australia. We'll talk about his reaction after hitting the winning runs. But KL Rahul, he's taught us all that when things are going wrong, just somehow figure a way to cut out all the noise outside.
Yeah, I always get surprised when people don't support KL Rahul. It basically means you've not observed it close enough. He's been a very consistent player in this ODI format. You cannot say the same about, say, a T20 or a Test right now, but definitely in the ODI format, in the limited time that he has played it, in between all his injuries, he's been very successful. He's done phenomenally well, and I'm so happy for him. You know, with so much brickbats being thrown at him in the time when he played last in the World Cup and the matches that followed, I'm just happy for the man, and I think the injury came as a blessing in disguise for him. The time off from him from the sport has, I think, given him the opportunity to go back, figure out what he needs to do, how he needs to do, and have a calmer approach to things. Not that he wasn't calm, it's just that sometimes a break will do you good as a cricketer, and I think this one break came upon at a good time for him. Yes, he missed the IPL, which is never good, but I just feel personally he's in a very good space right now when it comes to how he's playing the sport.
Also seems to revel very well with the likes of Virat and Rohit around as well. That reaction, he was himself in disbelief when he hit that six. I don't think he expected it to go for six, but what did you make of that reaction?
Well, if he wanted the 100 badly, it's not a bad scenario to be in because he has to again now go the distance. So that is going to keep him going. I mean, I'm just looking at the lighter side of things. But look, the inning was a special one. You look at the pressure at that stage. It's just going to give him a whole lot of confidence, especially because he's been away from the game for a while.
Yep.
He came back, started with 100. He's been looking good. But this innings, when you're talking about the tournament like World Cup, whatever you've been doing before that and whatever you're doing in the tournament as you start matters. So even if you're having a good run and you get in the tournament and you start the tournament on a bad note, then it certainly adds to the pressure. In his case right now, this first game has just lifted him up.
Yeah.
So that is going to be so crucial. And also the middle order is so crucial because these are the days when you just go back to 2019 finals, to the semi-finals. When you lost 3 wickets, and then after that the game was done and dusted. You know, there's tremendous pressure to chase down that total. Here you've started the World Cup with that kind of a game. You know, it was actually for Aussies to take the game. They had created that kind of a scenario. Everyone were looking tense, and from that moment to have such a partnership and staying not out till the end is something which every batter should strive for, and he's achieved that. Yes, he's missed his 100, but he's achieved what matters. What matters is the team, getting the team over the line. He's got the team over the line in style, and it's going to go a long way for him in this tournament.
Yes, they seem to shut the door himself. KL Rahul and Virat Kohli shut the door on Australia when they would have felt that they had a huge chance to win that game in Chennai against India. But when KL Rahul, the touch player, is in full flow, it should scare any bowler on the planet.
Beautiful player to watch. Just the 2 late cuts against Zampa and the momentum that he got. If you remember the first boundary that he hit of Josh Hazlewood, what a lovely shot. Silken touch. The 2 players I've enjoyed watching so far in this World Cup. One is David Malan. I think him very much in the mold of a KL Rahul. Just uses the gaps really well. And KL Rahul, before he decides to go into 5th gear, when he starts hitting boundaries in that 2nd to 4th gear, is beautiful to watch. Just the kind of timing that always a good-looking right-hander to watch. I'm enjoying KL Rahul going about things, doing it his way.
Right, if Afghanistan have to defend 272, Rashid Khan, as always, clearly the key man now. It's very interesting where he finds himself in the best averages in ODI cricket for those who picked up at least 150 wickets. Right on top of that pile, which has Richard Hadley, Alan Donald, Saqlain Mushtaq, Ajanta Mendes. Now, Zach, these are 2 different stories. Rashid Khan, the T20 bowler, Rashid Khan, the ODI bowler. are different as far as recent form is concerned. He went wicketless in his last match, wicketless in 3 of the last 5 ODIs. Why is it tougher for someone with that kind of skill to be as effective in ODIs?
Because also Afghanistan uses him differently, isn't it? He's not bowling till at times 25, 26 overs. And every time there is ball in his hand, he's actually the bowler who's supposed to take wickets.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a different pressure which he walks in with. And also in an ODI format, you can take time against a bowler like Rashid Khan. You know 10 overs, you can be defensive against him, and then after that look to take on the other bowlers. So that makes it harder. He has been little off color. That's also been something which everyone took notice of recently, which he'll have to figure out. Maybe he's just going too quick into the pads. That is something which is not helping. He's not looking to turn the ball that much. So those are the things which he'll have to see with regard to his bowling aspect of things. But the batters usually are not going to let him have it easy in this format, as they have luxury of time.
Well, they didn't have enough runs in Dharamshala in their opening game. Today, their batters have given Rashid Khan a slightly bigger total to work with. So who knows? This might be Rashid's day. But gentlemen, we've run out of time. Quick prediction, 10 overs. India.
70.
55.
85. We'll find out. That's it for now on Cricbuzz Live. Do join us at the 15 over mark on Cricbuzz Combox. Enjoy the second innings.